Hello guys, I'm Genese.
And I am Kim Love Jones.
Kim Love Jones, honey. And we are 2Hot4Church.
Yes.
Get it? You better get it. No, you better get it, sugar.
I know, right?
You better get it, sugar. Sugar is her favorite word, and you guys will see that the more you watch us. We're hoping that you continue to watch us because we got some really good stuff to talk about.
Yes.
So, 2Hot4Church is where we bring thought-provoking talk from the pulpit to the streets, okay? So Kim, the lovely Kim Jones, wrote this book, right?
No. It's Kim Love Jones.
Oh, did I mess it up? Yeah, you better correct me. Look, you better get it right.
It is Kim Love.
Oh, yeah,
Jones.
correct me.
Yeah.
And she did correct me.
Yes.
But Kim Love Jones.
That's
You can't
right.
Love
That's right.
Jones.
That's right.
Kim Love Jones wrote this book that if you guys have seen me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, I'm constantly talking about this wonderful book that has changed my life forever. I mean, honestly, it has changed the way that I look at relationships, period. And I'm just so thankful, and I'm just going to keep on saying it and saying it and saying it until y'all listen. This book that she wrote, Perfectly Imperfect, is the bomb diggity. Yes. And it don't even, look, I'm telling them about your book. I don't care. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you're single. I don't care. Whatever kind of relationship you are looking to enhance in. And how about trying to enhance in your own self? Get a relationship with yourself. This is the book that you have got to read. I'm telling you. One thing I do have to say about this book, and no, I thank you, really. I really thank you. Because one thing that I can say about this book, seriously, is that it changed my whole perspective about who I am.
Right.
Really, like this is like real talk.
Right.
There was a time when I went around thinking that all my relationships that didn't go the way I planned was everyone else's fault.
Right.
And a lot of people do that, you know?
Yeah, they do.
Until I read the book and I was like, oh, wait, I got some issues too?
Right.
Oops.
I think that's the hardest thing right there. I really think that that's the hardest thing. It's just recognizing that you are part of the problem.
Right. Like, who, me?
Whoever though. Because, you know, when I first wrote the book, Genese, I got more feedback from the men.
Right, you told me that.
They were like, oh my God, Kim, I love this book. I love it. And the women were calling me up to question.
Cursing you out?
Not really cursing me out. They're like, well, Kim, how come you said this? And it's like, okay. This is really what it is.
Right.
And a lot of them did not want to deal.
Like what? Like give me an example. Like
they wanted to understand if it could have been them, if they are making wise decisions and wise choices for their lives. And sometimes, you know, without giving away too much, because I don't, you know, they wanted to know whether or not they were making a right decision based on what I wrote in the book. And I said, well, what do you see for yourself? Like, do you know, because there's something that has you kind of amiss, you know, has you a little twisted up. But they weren't really ready to deal with to do the work.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And
I can get it.
Run rampant.
Yes, I get it.
Excuses can run rampant for relationships that have gone awry or gone on too long, or not having a lack of a relationship. Right. You know, a lot of people.
But do you get that a lot? Like the women are more so like, well, who do you think you are, or why did you write this? And you know, do you get that
I get the
a lot? Like they give you the business.
They want to understand how I came to that conclusion.
Okay, and the majority of it, honestly, like how did you? Because there's a couple of things in the book. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there are a couple of things in the book where I was like, wait, what?
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
Like, there was some things that I was in the reading, and it made me question, like, wait, what?
Right. I don't know which points that was.
But it was.
I'm sure Because I get that a lot. Like, people are like, where do you come from with that?
Because it's a different way of thinking.
Right. And they can't.
Like,
even when I did the emotions forum, which is coming up May the 14th.
And I can't wait. I cannot wait.
So
That's going to be the bomb.
I'm very excited about it.
I'm like excited. I'm there.
Yeah. And we're at the emotion forum, and a man would say something to the women, and they would be in an uproar, like ready to fight. And then I would, because I'm hosting the forum, I would then turn around and tell them the same thing. I'll say, he's absolutely correct. Like, you've got to stop. And they wouldn't be as mad at me as they were with the gentlemen. But the brothers have a voice, and when they tell you something, we got to listen. It's very important for women to listen.
Brothers have voices?
Yes, they do. And that's the problem.
Where at?
Right. That is exactly the attitude.
I'm only playing, y'all. I'm really only playing.
No, and that really is the attitude.
Because it's all about the women. It's all about women.
It's almost like they think that men are Superman, but then they tear them down and they are like kryptonite. And I'm not saying this to dog out my sisters. I just need them to understand that men have feelings too, and men have a voice too. And because they operate on a different frequency than us, sometimes even a higher frequency than us in the way that they deal with things. But we just don't want to hear, because we, we're like, what? Yeah. All of this what? And it's like, you, in all honesty, I don't, I'm a big advocate for my brothers. I get on them when necessary. Right. I'll say, but I'm a big advocate for them, because I think that because women are more verbal. Yes. Right. And that's exactly what I was going to say. Right. Women are verbal. They have a voice. Men have a voice, but they don't use it. When they do use it, women always shut them down. No, we don't. No, you do. I mean, maybe, maybe we can be a little attitude-ish. No, not even that. Like, if a man actually says something to you, you be double-checking what he just said to you. Like, you might go ask somebody else. Like, you don't believe him. Like, his word wasn't good enough. Like, that kind of thing. Okay. Like, so how you at work. So you're saying that women undermine men? Yes. And they do it all the time. And they do it so regularly. They don't even know that they're doing it. It's like so commonplace. But I mean, I can see myself undermining someone who I did not think was capable of understanding where I'm coming from, or just knowing how to take care of. And that's what a lot of women think. They think the man doesn't understand. It's not that he doesn't understand. He processes different. Well, okay. So this is a public service announcement to all the men out there. Act like you understand. Because if you acting like you don't understand, how am I supposed to know? They do act like they understand, but they process different, because they're not verbal like women are. And whose fault is that? No, it's not my fault that we gonna pray for her right now. Yes, we're gonna go to deep. Father, like, I need in the name of Jesus, and some knee pads. Yes. I'm gonna go to war. But it's not my fault. If you're not, it's not my fault. It's not. If I have something to say, right, and I need you to understand where I'm coming from, right, and act like you understand. Okay. And a lot of men, what they do is, and I've noticed this, everything is held inside. Uh-huh. And like you said, they process things differently. Uh-huh. Okay, I get that. Right. But what about me? What about women who, what about me? What about me? Mm-hmm. And women out there who need someone to verbally express or verbally work through a problem. Okay, there's like 3 things I think I heard in just the last statement. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff. That was a lot inside. Y'all. I'm just trying to get it out. Trying to get it all out. Trying to get it all out. Like 3 things. Yes. Okay. It's not that they're not verbal, they're not mute. It's just that they process different and they deal with things different. Okay. They're not gonna, and here's the big one, y'all. They ain't women. So they're not gonna do things like we do it, right? And so they do speak, but if they do speak, and I'm talking about in a troubled situation, because I'm not talking about your everyday, because some men are very in tune with their wives, their partners, and they know what it takes, to comfort and soothe them. That's the one thing that a man should know before he get married to anybody. You better know how to understand your woman.
Right. I agree.
You better understand her. Because when she happy, everybody's happy.
That's
you understand what I'm saying?
You better tell them.
So you need to understand your woman. You need to work on trying to understand her. It does not mean that he is going to respond like he is a woman. He is going to respond like a man.
Okay. I just got an ah moment, like a ding 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 moment. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
He's not going to do that, and you might as well give it up, because he is not going to start crying when you cry because you all emotional when you walk in the house. He may not even show empathy in the same way that you would show your girlfriend empathy if she was going through something, or something happened at work and her whole life is falling apart and it's just one of them crazy days. He's not going to process it like that.
Because when a woman comes home and she's venting, and then you're just like, you're venting to like a brick wall, it's just like, why do I even talk to you? You know what I mean? Like, why do I even talk to you?
Because you got to get in, you got to get out. You got about 3 seconds, maybe. You ever heard of an elevator speech? When you telling somebody what you do in life? Okay, so elevator speech is when you're on the elevator, you're going down 3 floors, and somebody says, so what do you do? And you get to tell them, boom, 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 what you do. You got to get in, you got to get out. Here's the other thing. I said it is important for a man to learn his woman, but it is equally as important for a woman to learn her man. And there's some time that he needs to sit and process, and he can't deal with all of that stuff that crazy right now. And you have to know when to sit down and have these conversations, and because it's not just about you anymore. We talked about this before. The act of service, the act of love, service. The act of love is service. The act of love is service. It's an act. It's a verb. If you know you are full and you are about to burst, maybe you should sit in the car for 20 minutes, because usually you're a man, and talk to your girlfriend about it on the phone. He'd be like, honey, why was you out in the car so long? Oh, I was on the phone talking to Janet. Something happened at work today, but I'm going to give myself a minute. I had to get it all out, and now, I'm okay. Honey, what you want for dinner? And then later on, because he needs time to process, or he needs a chill out moment because he just got in 10 minutes before you. It's like, you want to be bringing your very best self to the relationship, but before you even know what that is for each individual person, right? You've got to know who your partner is, what makes them tick, what makes them happy. You got to kind of, do your work.
That makes sense, because that's probably why couples get into so many arguments, because it's just like you're beating a dead horse, and the more you beat, the more frustrated you get,
and the more frustrated it makes the whole situation.
And it's just like, okay, but if you learn the method to overcoming this issue, and that is a very good idea.
To
learn your partner. So like you said, if you are going through something, it is okay to vent to your girlfriends, but that before you dump it all on your man. But I think that takes learning. It takes it, you know what I mean? Like, it really takes someone to learn it, because you don't know.
I don't think that women know. I watched a little video one time, and Sherry Shepherd was saying something to the effect of she wanted her man, Steve Harvey, Sherry Shepherd. It was a few, big names on the stage, and Sherry Shepherd, well, I want my man to help me take out my weave. And Steve Harvey was looking at her, he was like, no man nowhere is going to sit down, wants to take out your weave. Right? Like, let's be realistic. And if he does want to take out your weave, usually, because some men like to wash women's hair. I don't know if it's a fetish or whatever. I don't know. The point is that is not normal. Right? It doesn't mean that nobody likes to do that.
Right. Just the average.
You've just slimmed your odds down to 1 in, 300,000.
Right. And if you're basing your ideal
because you
mate
want him
off
to
of
be
that,
sensitive,
then
you want him to be. Men, do not go talk to your girlfriends if you need a moment. Go get what you need,
right?
Because it's available to you,
right?
And and don't get all caught up in the fact that oh my God.
But I think most women have the wrong idea, because most women think that it's okay to dump everything on your man, because they're supposed to be my provider. Right. Not only are they supposed to be my provider, but you're also supposed to be my counselor. Right. You're supposed to be my coach. Rah, rah, go ahead, get it, baby. Support, so the support system, encouragement. If there are children involved, you got to be daddy. But not even realizing that they are facing a lot.
Yes, themselves.
Yeah,
they are.
So I think it's safe to say that a lot of women, and I might get in trouble for this, I still love y'all anyway, but a lot of women have unrealistic expectations.
Yes, how about that?
Listen, I still love y'all anyway. Yeah. I still love y'all anyway, even though a lot of you guys may not agree with that. But I think that it is safe to say, for the sake of saving relationships and building relationships, I think that it is safe to say that a lot of women, including myself, have unrealistic expectations when it comes down to men and relationships.
Yes.
So that's something that we definitely have to work on.
Yes.
Because that's a good point.
The other day when I was talking about the ratio business?
Yes. That was good. That was good.
That's important. I think it kind of got lost in the rest of the video, but that is so extremely important, because women are not understanding that the ratio, the way that they got that thing set up, it is not an exact science.
Correct.
Right?
But they're operating from that point.
They're operating from that standpoint, and then you got, this 8-to-1, 9-to-1 ratio. That's not true. Because a lot of women don't even want to be in a relationship. I promise you they don't.
And that cuts it down.
It cuts it down because some women are saying to themselves, is it worth it?
Right.
And not because they just kind of tapped out of the whole game, right? But because maybe they have tapped out. Somehow.
Some have.
And so, in a real way, they've tapped out. And they just no, I've had it, right?
Right.
So if 4 out of the 8 or the 9, that really changes the game a lot. There are a lot of available, wonderful brothers out here who, are looking for someone to spend their lives with. At the very least, it's just somebody to be in a relationship with, right? But it's a fallacy to believe that that the ratio, although it adds up mathematically to be that, the other things are not being considered.
Correct.
And in fact, I saw a survey with women, 63% of women are happy or single. Yeah. I saw a survey, and I was like, wow, that kind of knocked my socks off.
I mean,
yeah,
I know a lot of women who have kind of thrown in the towel.
Right.
And, no more relationships, no more even putting in that effort. And they are living their best lives.
Right. They're traveling.
Right. Yeah. They're traveling. They are taking up different hobbies.
Right. Creating programs.
Right.
Building
running
schools.
Yes. Running businesses.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think they've kind of taken that whole, in order to be successful in life, you have to have a relationship. They've taken that out of the equation. Their mind is not even thinking like that.
No.
And a lot of younger women are feeling that way too. It's not just older women who have just been through so much.
Right.
A lot of the younger women now are
some
chasing careers.
Some of it is not based on, but some of that, some of this being taken out of the equation of the ratio is not based upon hurt. Some of it is just finding a partner that is adequately suited to be with you.
Right.
You understand? Because today, men want to be taken care of. And I don't just mean cooking, cleaning. They want somebody to financially. And I know a lot. No, okay.
She said, I don't think y'all got the side eye look. She was like, okay. Wow.
Look at it.
Wow.
Okay. So, the idea is that a lot of women are opting out of those types of relationships because they want somebody that's grown. They got a passport. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. That's been some places.
Right. And that wants to, because a lot of women may be coming up on retirement and they're thinking about the rest of their life. And they definitely don't want to get with somebody who all they want to do is flick the remote control. I mean, that is absolutely not what they want for their lives. And so they're not opting out because they're hurt. They're opting out because they're just like, I don't know if I'm even going to worry about whether or not I have a partner. I'm just going to do me.
Yeah.
And they just completely out of the equation.
Yeah. And they are still living their best lives.
Yes.
I know a few women who are, they're opting out even younger now. I'm telling you. They're okay with just doing a Netflix and chill and then taking you behind home. You know what I mean? They're not trying to create anything more than that.
Right.
They're okay with, going out to dinner here and there or maybe even phone conversation. But to really get deep into it, they don't have the time.
Right.
Because a relationship is very time consuming.
It is.
It is very time consuming. And like you said in the book, a lot of people are not finding true love nowadays because they don't want to put in the work to do it.
Right.
They rather put the time and energy into other things. Like gardening, traveling.
Right.
I
like to garden.
Right. Businesses. It's just like they're like, I'm so over it now.
Right.
And I'm starting to see it happening at such a younger rate. Like I can remember honestly looking at some of the older women and not really understanding why they wanted to be, but just being older and living their best life. Like,
I know what you
so
mean.
unbothered.
And you'd be like, you don't want a boyfriend?
Yeah, that would be me. Like, wait, you don't want a boyfriend? Like, why?
You're not that old.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. And just wondering, like, wait, why?
Right.
And when I tell you living, still done up, doing them,
fly
just
divas.
Fly divas.
Yeah.
But just so unbothered, like, and me here, young me, you don't want a boyfriend?
Right. You need somebody to hang out with you.
But now, even the younger women are doing that now.
Right.
And
because I believe in a lot of ways, it stops a lot of the nonsense.
Yes.
I mean, if I honestly, if I have to, I'm not going to settle because I know my worth.
Right.
And it's not that I'm not interested, but I know my worth.
Right.
So I'm not going to just be like, oh, okay, do whatever you want, I'll take it.
Right.
It's not happening like that. You have to be accountable and responsible and genuinely care about this relationship. I'm not taking bits and pieces.
Right, exactly. And I think that is what it is all the way around. We're not taking bits and pieces anymore. Because I think more so when we were growing.
Some people do now.
Well, I think
look,
take bits and pieces and then they use the P word.
Do you see that face?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Some people do. It's so frustrating.
It is.
Because I believe that women are so very powerful. If we understood our worth, we would turn this world upside down.
We don't.
And the brothers would do cartwheels and flips because they want what we have.
Yeah, we don't.
They want to,
We don't.
Right.
But women, a lot of us don't know our worth. And I think it's because what we were talking about before, we are subconsciously conditioned to think a certain way.
Right.
And this stuff is real. It's so deep. And that's why I'm such a fan of this book, because it makes you think.
Let me ask you something. If somebody told you, Genese, you're not going to win the lotto, but you're going to be a billionaire by next year, could you believe that? You're not going to win the lotto, but you're going to be a billionaire next year this time. Could you believe that?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't believe it.
Okay. That's the same way people feel.
Like
my Prince Charming is not right around the corner.
Nah.
The guy that I need, the guy that I want, he don't exist.
Right.
It's not ever going to happen. That's how you kind of find yourself spiraling down into the rabbit hole.
Right.
Like, because you don't believe that it's possible.
Right.
It doesn't manifest. It doesn't show up.
Right. And you're right. Because I think a lot of it comes from different things. I think that lack of belief also comes from past relationships.
Right.
The lack of belief comes from childhood trauma. The lack of relationships comes from past relationship trauma. Like it just, it comes from
post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right. It comes from somewhere.
Right.
You know, and you're not even realizing it.
Right.
You're not even realizing on the thought level that you're operating on.
Right.
And why you keep
The
producing
frequency.
the same old,
Right.
you know, dead end relationships.
Right. Right.
So, with that being said, start operating in order to start operating on a higher frequency level, you have to think big.
Yeah. You have to.
And what was it called in the book? Think Big. It was called
What book?
the book. It's called Think Big. Think Big Thinking. What's it called? Big Thinking? Oh my gosh. I know you're gonna edit this out. But it's big thinking. Big thinking. Not being stretched. Abundance thinking. Is it thinking abundance? Is it thinking abundance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big thinking. I was like, where's that? I don't think I wrote that. I was like, what book is that in? I don't know that book.
It's abundance thinking. You have to think like you have it.
Yeah. Like a champion.
Like you have to think like a champion. Now, listen, me, you want to know how I'm thinking now?
How?
Do y'all really want to know? I ain't playing.
All right.
2019, I ain't playing.
I see.
I ain't playing.
You're taking the world by storm.
I'm taking it. I'm taking
Genese,
it. I'm
Roberson,
taking it.
On deck.
I ain't playing.
Y'all better get it.
Y'all better get it.
She ain't playing.
I'm not playing.
All
because
right.
I've been playing around for so long, not even realizing I was playing around.
Right.
And once you realize, like, oh, wait, hold on.
Right.
But that's probably when, remember how you talked about the awakening in the book? Like, once you were finally like, wait, what? The awakening is real, y'all. I'm telling you.
It is.
I'm telling you, it is real, because once and it's just like you've been asleep all along.
You were kind of just coasting along.
Yeah.
You're like, just doing everything. And, I honestly said that I have had, throughout my entire life, I've had these seasons when I would sit on the side of my bed and I would say to myself, is this all that there is? Right? Because somewhere in my heart, my head, this didn't feel like, where I was then did not feel like
that was it.
This was sufficient enough to be it.
It didn't sit well.
No. And it wasn't like I could see something afar off. I had a vision or whatever. It wasn't any of that. It was just like, this is not kind of what I wanted. Yeah. This is not kind of what I had planned. I don't know what I had planned, but this ain't it. Maybe I had no plans, but this still does not feel
right. Yeah.
Like it feels like something's missing. There's a void. You know what I mean? And it can't be filled up by anything. And so I was talking to somebody the other day, and God was leading me, but one of the things that left in my spirit is it's not over. It ain't over. And it was just really based on that whole idea, like, how did I get here? And is this it? Is this all that there is going to be? And the answer to that is no. Because at the minute you start asking the questions, Because it says in a word, I forget what chapter and verse, but ask God for wisdom and he'll give it to you liberally, right? Mm-hmm. At the point where you start asking, God starts answering. Starts incrementally opening up doors for you to see behind, little veils, just for you to get a glimpse of what your life could be like.
Right, okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just enough. Say, you don't have to stay here. You can,
move forward.
Progress.
Yeah.
And it happens, because God in his infinite wisdom, he's amazing.
Yeah, we talk about how awesome he is all the time. It blows my mind.
Because what he's doing is, it's like he's setting you up.
Right.
In a real way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so you get to this point where you start to realize that there is really more. You can really attain more. You can have more. Wait. I can have more. I can attain more. Okay. All right, God. And I'm not even sure that that's going to fill the void, because it's not about the more stuff.
Right.
The more is your purpose and your destiny.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But people get caught up and they think that the more is more cars, more clothes. Right. More boom, boom, boom.
Right.
No. The more is, I am destined for more than this. Yeah. Right? And so I can sit here today and say to you that you are truly a champion. Because you know how many people do not honor their gifts or their calling.
Right.
They too busy trying to hide it away, keep it to themselves. But what about the man? What about the man who gave his servants the talents? What did they do with them? Right?
Right.
Okay. So the idea is that, there's more, and it gets better.
Right.
As long as you keep walking in your purpose and in your destiny. Right.
But a lot of people don't do that because maybe they're scared of what other people think, or maybe, I don't know, why.
It's a combination of things, environment, DNA.
Yeah.
You're not used to going to Bora Bora, so you don't think as big as Bora Bora.
Right.
You don't think about going to Dubai, where hamburger costs you $5,000. You know what I'm saying? In their money, but I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You're not thinking like that, so it's not manifesting itself.
Right.
So what you are thinking, the little, you're not thinking abundant thinking.
Right.
So you're thinking the little thoughts, and
if
that's
I can
what
just
it's
go
producing.
to school and get my degree, I can make $200,000.
Yeah.
Instead of, if I went to school, got my degree, and operated in my purpose,
right.
I can be rich beyond measure.
Right. I like that.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
I like that. And that's where I'm at. In my point in life now, listen, no more little thinking.
Right. Right.
Because once I realized that I was thinking little,
right.
and that's the problem. I think a lot of women and men, we don't realize that we are thinking little.
Yeah, we think small.
We think really small, and even in and I think
it's
that
kind of ugly.
It is. I mean, it's depressing. Oh my goodness,
is this it?
Is this it?
Right.
And a lot of, I always have my moments where I have to have my transparent moment.
Go ahead.
But honestly, there was a time in my life, and I can remember I struggled with this growing up, where I would take less than I deserved or that I was worth.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Meaning, in relationships, I was okay with settling for someone who wasn't really that into me.
Right.
If
I
that
think
makes
we've all
sense,
done that, though.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're taking crumbs.
Yeah, just taking crumbs.
Because you're taking crumbs, yeah.
Because my whole way of thinking was, okay, this is it.
Right.
It can't get any better.
Right, until you realize that this can't be it. And you say to yourself, wait. You be like, wait. You be like, wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute. Right.
Right.
Wait a minute. Right.
Right.
This is not not.
Right. Like I was cool with the, with the excuses,
Right, with the
with the pieces, you know how when a man is not really into you, he ain't really spending that much time with you.
Right.
He ain't really trying to learn about you. He ain't really, I was okay with kind of that.
Right. Right.
Like, okay, well, why didn't you call me today? I haven't heard from you, or I had a busy day. Like, okay. I was kind of like, okay with that.
Right. Right.
Or, you who is Susie May that you talking to? Or where's she, oh, that's just a friend and not, oh, okay, that's it. I was just okay with the BS, really.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah. Because I think everybody has been, at some point in their lives, in that same condition. Mm-hmm. Which is why we all in the place that we're at, and just all fragile in our, but I'm going to tell you, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. This is my life's work. I'm telling you, I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
To get people to think big, abundant thinking. To get people to understand first that you are thinking small.
Yes. Yes, because you have to show people who they are. I think when I do my workshops and stuff, I give them, like worksheets and stuff. Because, we're at a workshop, so I want you to do some work.
Right,
I want you to,
work.
work on yourself.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if they're coming, they're paying. So they came with the attitude to work.
Okay.
So that's the point. When you start digging deep, like if I've literally had people like really break down, and not that was the goal, not there anyway. You don't expect that, but sometimes you pull that veil back. You peek behind, and I'm telling you, it can be disruptive in somebody's life because people want to operate a certain way. Yeah. And don't you dare come in
Take
here
me out of it.
Trying to pull me out of my darkness.
Like,
I like it in here.
And look, I'm not
stay out of my business.
I'm not paying you to pull me out. I'm paying you to co-sign my mess.
Shenanigans. Yeah.
I'm paying you to co-sign. Yeah. And I'm sure you get a lot of that.
Right.
I'm paying you to co-sign my mess.
I won't even work with somebody if they don't do the homework. I don't care how much you're paying me.
That's right.
Because what I want to see in you is life transformation. I want to see you grow. I want your relationships to flourish. I want you to love yourself enough.
Yep.
Love yourself enough to start making changes and shifts in your eating habits or, because any number of things, that you have to as work a coach want your people, you want your clients to be happy. You want them to grow. It's work. I'm telling you, there is no amount of money you could pay me to sit there and watch you flounder and not do nothing. Wow. I'm sorry, because I'm not here for that.
Right. You know your purpose. You are living in your purpose.
Yes.
So
which
it would go against your purpose to even sit there and watch someone go through that.
Right. I can't.
I get it.
I can't. And don't come to me if you don't want help. Yeah. And I really mean that. Yeah. I really mean that.
And when people come to you, it's almost as if you have to figure out if they are ready to be helped or not, because some people come to you to co-sign, but you have to figure out, let me see.
And I do.
So if you guys have not already gotten a book, please go to Amazon, and I'm telling you guys, it's a life-changing book. So get the book. It's called Perfectly Imperfect. It's by Miss Kim Love Jones, and it's key principles that lead to your best relationship ever. And follow me as well, Genese, 2Hot4Church IG, 2Hot4Church also on Facebook. You can also email me at, what is the email? At Gmail, 2Hot4Church@gmail.com.
2Hot4Church, y'all.